I get like so much be happening in here. It's already a lot happening up here, but there's a lot happening in here, and I don't be know what the fuck. I don't know the fuck. I don't know what the fuck
I'll
I'm
keep you
I'm
on
over here
track.
knocking. I'm over here knocking the desk over and all. But
Don't hold back how you feel. Welcome to the platform for the misunderstood and creatives alike. So roll a joint and pour a shot. You're listening to the Dash It Out podcast, the show that brings your after hours talk to daytime. No wrong opinions and all unfiltered. With your host, Vic Tor.
So, hey everyone, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Dash It Out Show. And today, our guest, my co-host, is the international best-selling author of the memoir, Prostitute to Professor. And she's here with us today on the Dash It Out Show. So let's give a warm welcome to my co-host, Becca Jacobson, everybody.
Yay! Thank you.
Not really warm, not about as warm, but
Okay,
about as warm
yeah.
as it gets. Okay, so anyway, okay, Becca, so how's everything with you? How are you feeling, for one?
I feel amazing. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah,
Great. I love the scenery. Like, was you outside?
my
Nice.
backyard.
Your backyard, sweet. Where you located?
If you see a bear coming up behind me, just let me know and I'll run into the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna
happen.
give you a heads up.
Okay. I'm in British Columbia, Canada.
British Columbia, Canada. Okay, great. Okay, I'm in New York City, so you're kind of like right around the corner from me.
Yeah, right.
Yes. But yeah.
Big difference to New York City to here. I'm in rural British Columbia in the mountains, so.
You really there. Okay. And you said bears. Okay.
I need bear.
Okay, good.
We're good. We'll be
Okay.
good.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Oh my.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about your memoir, Prostitute to Professor, okay? Can you
Okay.
just tell the audience a little bit about this memoir and what inspired you to write it?
What inspired me to write it was hiding in secrecy and shame for 30 years. Wow, 20 years. And almost 30. And keeping it I thought my big secret. I was a professor, students, colleagues, the whole life, and the whole time, this other life that no one knew about. And that's okay. I mean, no one ever would know, but I knew. And
Yeah.
I was struggling with addiction, and part of my recovery, I decided to share my story. I wasn't going to publish it. I was going to start just by writing it because there were pieces of my life that I'd never even really allowed myself to think about. When I started writing it, I realized a lot of things, but by the end of the process, working with an editor and a coach, I realized I needed to publish it to let people know that no matter what they've done or where they've been, the sky's not going to fall when the truth is revealed.
Let's do it!
In a sense, you kind of took back your power, right?
I did. Yes.
That's beautiful. 'Cause I know there's a lot of individuals that's struggling with addiction and those who also dealing with, mature adult affairs and activities, should I say. But in your case, you kind of really went for the juggler with the prostitute, and I find very intriguing. Okay, you said professor to prostitute, and now professor have a very positive connotation, where prostitute have a very negative connotation. And
What
the
the
fact that
fuck,
you kind of
dude?
put them both together was showing the duality of your life, and
That's right.
it shows that regardless of your background or where you come from or what you've done, that you can always rise above it. So my thing is, in your case, you said that you was a professor while you was a prostitute. So this was
No.
something that it wasn't. So it was
No.
prostitute to professor. Exactly.
Yes.
Got
Yes.
you. Okay, so clarify that. Okay, cool. So that transition from that period of when you was out and about, extra, curriculum activities, should I say,
Yeah.
to going into becoming a professor. What was
Yeah.
that transition like?
It was it was a 7-year transition because I I was just, I was working the streets. I was living that life from 18 to 32. So for 15 years.
Damn.
And my, addiction was running rampant, and I was just living in that lifestyle with others in that lifestyle. At the end of it, when you're 32, all of a sudden, like, people aren't particularly interested. There's 18-year-olds, and it's like, I'm having a hard time making money. And it suddenly, I always knew I wanted to do more with my life, but I was so wrapped up in the life and drugs and alcohol and I get, something is when I went my 11th time to detox, I was in there and I thought, I have to do something. I'm 32. I'm old. I'm like, what's going to happen when I'm 42? Like, what am I going to do? And I decided to go to college. I didn't have any money saved, but I got student loans, and I decided I thought I'm just going to get a bachelor's degree and see what I can do, and ended up going to grad school and becoming a professor. So yeah, I don't know. I just, the transition was long, right? So it started at 32. I started teaching when I was 40. So it was a long journey. Yeah.
But you never given up though. And that's what I found very, very intriguing and immaculate.
And it was hard because I wasn't clean and sober during college. So I kept falling back and going back and falling back. And then, you're right. I never gave up. It was hard. So whatever people are struggling with, that's why I put the book out there. It's like, it's not like, oh, I think I'll become a professor now, right? It's years of struggle and failure and trying again.
So when you went to school, you didn't have your mind set to become a professor? Was this something that kind of developed as you was going through school and redefining your identity here and becoming the staple on this world? So it was just something that kind of evolved, and you was like, okay, you know what? I can see myself working in this profession.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly. I liked it. I loved the atmosphere on campus. I loved being a student. I loved being a grad student, and I thought, I love this. So this is what I want to be when I grow up, so to speak. And I was able to do it. Yeah.
That's pretty fucking dope, honestly, Becca. Like,
I know,
you hear so many people that procrastinate, right? So many people are like, oh, well, because I don't have money, or because the fact how I was raised, or because ethnicity, because I'm Black, or whatever. Like, oh, I have all these trials and tribulations that I can't get over. Like, I become a victim of my circumstance. And here, you just redefined every fucking thing. Like, and I love that. That's why I love when I have guests come onto the show, because they show their truth and it allows listeners to really tap into it. Like, the demographic range, according to the analytics, the demographics from listeners' age range is from 20 to 59 here on the Dash It Out show.
Okay.
So
nice.
I find it very intriguing that, from the age of 18, you started, your extracurriculum activities.
Don't be so polite.
And at the age of 32, the 32, people like okay, they know exactly who they are, what they want to become, but you just redefine that stereotype and was like, you know what, at 32 I want to make a change. I want to reinvent myself. And at the age of 40, you now not only have you already established who you wanted to be, but you also shedding light to a very touchy topic, and that's your life. And you inadvertently took your power back by sharing your truth, and that's amazing. I have to give you kudos for that, because that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. And I have to give it to you. Like I said, you have a lot of people that procrastinate, a lot of people that want to beat around the bush and give into the fuckery about, oh, I can't do this because of that.
Yeah.
There's no excuse at the end of the day. Don't get me wrong. We all have moments. We all have challenges that we have to overcome. But after a certain period of time, when you feel it in your spirit, your intuition, and everything around you, it's just you're not fitting into it. I really feel as though that you started resonating. You like, I'm a strong believer in energy and vibrations and all that good stuff. So I really started to feel as though your energy vibration started to change. You was no longer resonating where you was at before, and life was ready to take you elsewhere. And you tapped into it. And once you did that, of course, it's not gonna be easy. It's never easy when you doing something different or doing something new, especially when you want to embed yourself. I mean, it's easy to do the wrong things. It's easy to do the worst things. Like, it's easy to be upset with somebody and punch them in the face, but it's a lot harder to sit there and take control of your emotions and reconcile with your inner demon and be like, you know what? Maybe they're acting like this because they have some internal battles that they are working through.
Yeah.
And let me go ahead, and because I recognize that, I'm going to approach this situation differently. That sometimes take a lot of hard work. Supposed to just, just clocking them in the noggin, like, but but yeah, so I definitely got to give you your props and your accolades for that, because that's a major, 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 major accomplishment. And I don't know if you're giving
Thank
yourself
you.
a pat on your back, but I would definitely go ahead and pat you in the back. I'm just wanna
I got it.
give you
I got
give you okay.
Nice. Hugs. Yay. The thing is, and now I'm in my third life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I took early retirement from the college, and now I'm coaching people, sobriety coaching, helping people come out of their own shells. And that was another hard transition, right? 20
Right.
years I was a professor, and that just happened this year. So I just recently left the college after 20 years to do this, online coaching, and it's another hard transition. And sharing my book was a hard transition, and not just doing it, but then deciding to share it. And so I'm really obsessed with, at this point in my life, first of all, I don't give a fuck what people think anymore, which is really refreshing for me, because I had to
Yeah.
hide for all those years. It's just like,
Right.
yeah, that's who I am. Some of my colleagues, when I published my book, this is the woman we've been working with all these years. And that's right. But I just want people to know exactly what you said. I love what you just said. It's beautiful. Like, and we had a hard childhood. This happened. Yeah, that happened. So what? It's your life. Do something with it. We can, right? If we're determined.
Right. And the thing is, what I found very intriguing about your story, especially within this day and age, okay, this generation, you have a lot of folks that can really relate with your book, because it's not just a cash grab. It's not like something you just put together to just be like, okay, well, let me make a few quick bucks. Like, this generation, well,
A few moments later.
I'm a millennial. I'm 28. I'm 28. So I'm a millennial.
Okay.
So millennials
Yeah.
and Gen Zs, like we, more predominantly Gen Zs, but as a millennial, but we also was like, miss us with the bullshit. Like we compete, we can read between the lines. We know when it's a cash grab. We know when it's fake, fictitious, and we just don't have time
Right.
for it. So
Right.
for you to sit there and share your story, although your colleagues may not agree with, they're gonna understand in the time in which that you put that book out, your spirit resonated with you to do that. And honestly, I really think that it was something that a lot of my listeners, including myself, would take a hold of, because it's in this day and age, like, it happens. It happens more than most. And you don't have to necessarily be, doing a 9 to 5, walking around, patrolling the area, but nowadays it's more online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowadays it's more online, and I've definitely had my moments when I engaged in a lot of, adult extracurriculum activities more than most. It wasn't really to the sense of like pay bills, it was more just to alleviate my mindset. But at the end of the day, it's still like, okay, it's still a transaction. You feel me? So it's like, you have a lot of people like, oh, well, I'm an adult, so friends with benefits, FWBs, what they call
Right.
FWB. I'm an adult, so I can do it. It's fine, nah. But after a while, if you need a hookup for every day, every season of the year, I wouldn't say every season. Let's just call it what it is. Every day or every week of the month, just to to get over what you're feeling emotionally. And regardless if you're not getting cash for it, it's still a transaction. They providing you with a short term of confidence and
That's a good point.
love, and it's still a transaction, So looking at it from that perspective, it still kind of come off like this is still something that happens daily. Something happens daily. I'm talking to attorneys. I'm talking to lawyers. I'm talking to actors, and I'm a fashion consultant. I do tuxedos and custom designs and stuff. So I do a lot, and I'm still kind of like in that world. Like, okay, you know what? Yeah, shoot me on IG. We'll talk. But it's like, although you're not getting the money from it, it's like you still it's still a transaction. And it's funny because Cardi B was just like, oh well, you kind of want some ass, you want some pussy, so I want some money. She was just like, oh, you want to have a good time, and I want my bills to be paid. Like, and it was funny when she said that, but I can get where she was coming from, because at the end of the day, it's still a transaction. But this is rampant. Honestly, this is rampant, and I really feel as though in your case, it was a lifestyle, and I think that's what you was really engulfed into that lifestyle.
Yeah,
and
totally.
And drugs does not make it better, because I definitely have my fair share with dealing with drugs myself. I used to be a heavy Molly user. I used to do a lot of cocaine. I used to do a lot of
dude?
Boo is what they call love boat.
Okay.
Drug. So yeah. So yes, I do. I used to do a lot. I used to experiment. I used to go out about, but Molly and cocaine was my primary choice. Molly, cocaine, and alcohol was my primary choice. But I'm not alcohol as so much. And in fact, I'm still a casual drinker. I still drink from time to time, but for the most part, I don't. I'm more weed. I smoke a lot of weed. I love my weed. I'm sorry, that ain't going nowhere. I love my fucking weed. I slow down, but I love my weed. Okay. It's times I really need it. I need it. I'm not need it, but it's times when it's just like, you know what? It's been a long week. I'm gonna just roll one. And then I go to the smoke shop around the corner, because like New York City have like so many. When they started closing them down now, because the government they want to get the taxes. They want to get that tax money off of from the dispensaries, and because they're not paying taxes for the sales they're making, the government's losing money, and they trying to make that taxable. But anyways, going off a little off topic there, but I had my fair share of going down that hole. Now, I never got to the point where I danced with the devil or chased the dragon. I've never really done any of those things. I know friends, and I know people who have, and I give them their props for having so much mental willpower, because you got to be mentally strong to do some of those things. Okay. And and honestly, I can be a weak little bitch in my mind sometimes. So, well, I realized it wasn't that weak when I did shrooms, and I realized when I did that, I was just like, shit, I'm actually pretty fucking cool.
Yes.
It's time plus everything. But so anyways, back on topic. Just kind of going down memory lane there. Just sharing a little bit about myself. Like I said, you come on my show, you're not just my guest, you're my co-host. So you speak about your truth, I speak about my truths. I want to be an open dialogue, and this is how we do it on Dash It Out show. All unfiltered, okay? All unfiltered. Okay, so one thing I just want to ask you, what advice can you give to someone aspiring to be the best version of themselves, Professor?
Mm-hmm. Don't try and be what other people want you to be. So to be the best version of ourselves is not what other people think we need to be. So people I see that a lot, right? That it's, well, here's what especially social media, and I need to be this. I need to look like, the best version of ourselves is our true selves. And it's hard to find that, right? But we need to look for it.
That's a strong suit that I've definitely been working on, because I have an issue with boundaries, and I have a tendency of having my boundaries broken or not putting them up at all, not establishing them in the beginning.
Right.
And I will allow individuals to come into my life in which they would kind of try to shape and mold me to fit their narrative so they feel comfortable. And because I'm not so much of a people pleaser, I'm just more of, I'm just the host with the most, and I just want to ensure that everyone is okay and great and taken care of. So it come a point in time when I'm just like, you know what, let me just bite my tongue. You know what, it's just an honest mistake. I let it go. And then I found myself not even recognizing myself after a while. Emotionally, it started internally. I would feel myself not recognizing myself. And then because internally I don't feel right, I started acting out externally. And then people were like, are you okay? Were you not acting like you normally do, this and that? And it got to the point where I'm just like, something doesn't feel right. And I realized that I was trying to shape and mold myself to fit in or to be accepted by my peers, but realizing that I'm not realizing that I'm losing a part of myself that made me special to begin with.
That's right.
That's something that I've been fighting, and I'm still fighting to this day. Working on those boundaries, working on not being, I hate the word people pleaser, not being so open to
Right.
everyone, everyone's narrative.
Being rejected is one of the basic human fears.
Yeah.
And when we're younger, I mean, just the thought of not fitting in is really hard, right? So we, I think most of us go through, but it gets easier when you get older. I hate to say that, but it does, because you just start to not care anymore. Look, this is who I am, right? So the sooner you can do that, the better. So good for you for recognizing that. I won't call you a people pleaser. We don't, but the boundaries, that's good. Good recognize.
It's just, 'cause I speak to, I have a few therapists. Okay, before I continue with what I was going to say, because I know that you are a professor. Should I refer to you as Professor Jacobson, or how should I want to be respectful? Because I keep saying Becca, I keep saying, and I said
No,
professor.
you can call me Becca. I'm actually just retired, just took early retirement, so now I'm Becca.
I mean, that's true, but I know that, like, sometimes some people like to keep their title.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking. I'm good with Becca.
Okay. But yeah, Becca, so people please have like a lot of negative connotation, so I try not to use that word so much.
I know.
But it's, so how can I say this without so it's like, sorry, I didn't realize that was there. Okay, but anyways, so I got a little sidetracked for a second.
Yeah, saw that.
Okay, but yeah, so like it's a lot of negative connotation when it comes to like the word people pleaser. But for the most part, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, because if you people pleasing, then that means you have a huge understanding of empathy, knowing that you don't put people in a position in which they feel threatened or uncomfortable. And I think that is a strong suit for me. So
yeah, no,
honestly, when people do afraid to move,
that's important, but that's not the same as people pleasing.
Yeah, true, but it's funny because
you described it yourself as boundaries.
Yeah.
Right. So not wanting to hurt someone or having empathy for them is one thing, but letting them, you have to hold your own boundaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you end up somewhere you don't want to be.
Yeah, everything kind of got lost in transition a little bit. I got a little distracted there, but you definitely brought it on back, Becca. You brought it on back.
Okay, yeah.
See, this is why on the Dash It Out show, like I need a co-host, okay? Because
or you'll just get lost.
I get like so much be happening in here. It's already a lot happening up here, but there's a lot happening in here, and I don't know what the fuck. I don't know I'm gonna be knocking the desk over and all. But
stop it.
But yeah, so anyways, just to get back on topic and everything. But I really do love that backdrop. Like the greenery, the scenery, it's clean, it's pristine, it's everything.
It's my backyard.
So quick question. So you are in Canada, but you like way up,
I'm actually, no, we're right on the American border, the Washington border. Yeah.
Okay. So I believe it was last year, roughly around, I think it was this time of last year, if I remember correctly, with the whole wildfire that happened in Canada, and it kind of took over like the whole. Took over.
It was in my province. It was here. Actually, it was here.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the worst wildfire season because we have wildfires every year, but it was bad. It was really bad.
That was terrible.
Yeah. It was really smoky and hard to breathe and hard to see, and and of course,
I know because
people lost their homes
all over New Jersey, New York, even in and I'm originally from DC, and I had family that was like, yeah, we got like a little aftermath, and it was all the way in DC. The clouds was like very dark. It was very apocalyptic, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on? I was curious about, but no, it was curious. I was like, what the fuck is going on though? Honestly, like I was a bit, but then I saw like it happened in Canada and whatnot. But if it was that crazy here, like we can like smell the smoke and see it, and the clouds was really dark.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine how it was there for you.
It was crazy.
Like? It was crazy.
Hard to breathe, hard to see. We couldn't just go for a walk or ride your bike because it was too smoky. I mean, wildfires are a natural part of the forest season. Forest, whatever, but
Yeah.
got completely out of control, and people lost their homes, and it was bad.
Yeah,
It was, that's a good word for it, apocalyptic. The sun was blocked out, right? You can't, so.
Really felt like we went straight to a sci-fi movie. That's how bizarre it really was. It was very, 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 very crazy. But I'm pretty sure all the listeners, I'm pretty sure they're aware. Anyone, I do have strong analytics in the New York City and a few in Canada. Actually, Canada is actually one of the countries that actually pull into the podcast a lot. Actually, right up
we're
there,
here.
United States.
People don't think we're here, but we're here. We're just quietly watching you.
Oh yeah.
Quietly watching you, not that. You know, it just really giving me the X-Files. They're out there.
We're out there. We're here.
The truth is out
watching.
there. Just watching. That's funny. That's funny. But you know the thing is I've always wanted to go to Canada though, because I always wanted to go to Canada.
You're not far from it.
I'm not far from it, but it's like I still want to go. I think that's what I'm going to do for my birthday. My birthday is actually coming up next month, and I think I want to go there just because.
Up to Niagara Falls. Yeah. What day is your birthday next month?
The 11th, 9/11 to be exact.
9/11. Okay.
9/11, baby. Virgo. It's almost Virgo season to be exact.
What year was that?
With the 9/11, the terrorist attack?
No, when you were born.
Born. Okay, I'm a 95.
Okay.
95.
So.
Yes, 95. And
it wasn't on the day of the terrorist attack. You're not that young.
Like 6 years afterwards. Yes.
Okay.
But I remember I was in class and we had a little party and whatnot, and the teacher was just like, stop, turn the TV on, and everything was quiet. Mind you,
it was awful.
I'm from DC, so not only did New York get hit, but DC got hit. The Pentagon got hit.
Yeah.
And there was a lot that was happening around that time. And I was I don't really know. But seeing reruns of a plane hit the World Trade Center, like at 6, 7 years old. I think it was turning 7.
That's scary.
That was like some scary shit. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
It was scary for all of us. I can't imagine being 6. Yeah, it was crazy.
And then just to leave and go home and still watch the news coverage from my father and my sisters, sitting in the dining room just watching the TV, just to see people jumping out the building. Like, what the fuck? I was like, yo, and it was on my birthday. So it wasn't like we didn't do much, but I'm not worried.
Yeah.
It wasn't traumatizing.
Good.
Sad to say. It wasn't traumatizing. It was eye-opening, but it wasn't traumatizing. But yeah.
Well, that's good.
Okay, besides everything else, so are you working on any new projects?
I am putting a lot of energy these days into my podcast. I have
Please speak about it.
Yes, I will. Okay. Thank you. I do a daily, every day, weekday, so 5 days a week, 10 to 20 minute snippet. They're called sober living snippets for people who are trying to stay sober. So I just pop in every day and give them some aspect of sobriety or mindset or the stuff we encounter when we're coming out of addiction or dealing with our past, all the crap that my book goes through. And that's where I've been putting my attention. And I love it. I'm really enjoying it, getting good feedback. And it's just, I don't interview people. I just pop in and share a thought for the day. So
nice. You said 10 to 20 minutes. That's perfect. It's perfect for the listener spans for listeners today because as we all know, a lot of y'all listeners don't want to listen to shit. Y'all listen span is like, wow. I'm messing with my audience. I'm messing with y'all. But no, nowadays listener spans are really a little worky. And y'all know what I'm talking about. They know exactly what I'm talking about, Becca. Okay. Listener spans is really gone downhill, okay? And then some of y'all really have the attention of an alley rat.
I taught at the college for the last 20 years. And the difference in 20 years of people's ability to concentrate in class, like as a college professor, it's crazy. You're right. I mean, very rapidly in the last 10 years, it's just been people can't concentrate. You got to stop and regroup. And
and it's not like I'm saying something that we all don't know. Because, for instance, a little scenario: if you're sitting there talking with your friend, you're having what they call a heated debate or a heated conversation or a passionate conversation. Now, conversation is so passionate, y'all both want to speak, but neither one of y'all are listening.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's where we at nowadays, people.
That's right.
So excuse me if the Dash It Out show is only 30 to 40 minutes long. It's not the typical hour, 30-minute podcast. But y'all don't be want to listen sometimes, okay? So I'm keeping it short so I can get the message across, okay? Okay, cool. I don't want to hear this again. No more. No more in the car ride. No more in the car ride home. I don't want to hear no more in the car ride home. Or you all could be grounded.
Okay.
But I love everyone. But yeah, Becca, this is great. I love that you get into podcasts. I love that you going on, you're doing your thing, and I love the fact that you're speaking about sobriety. That's amazing. Because even though on the Dash It Out show, like it's live your life and all the X, Y, and Z, but I've done numerous episodes in which I was sharing, talking about sobriety. Now, I've detoxed it from like hard drugs. I don't do hard drugs no more. Thank God. I don't do that shit no more. Cause that shit don't lead nowhere. It's like being alone, sad, depressed with a fucked up body and mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as far as everything else, it was like just knowing like you need help and reaching out because, like you said, the aftermath of sobriety. But it's that period of feeling like something is missing. And that's something I had to go through with detoxing. It felt like something was missing. I felt like I was losing a part of myself. I felt
totally
like I wasn't able to enjoy certain things no more because I wasn't doing the substances I was doing. I felt like I couldn't hang around the same people no more, not knowing that I don't need to be hanging around those fuckers. But I felt like I couldn't hang around them some more. And, and like even though like I still partake in like the occasional drink here and there, but I know there's individuals and also my listeners here and everyone y'all tuning in that's that they like to go to the bar and hang out with friends, but you stand up from alcohol as well, and you can feel as though you can't hang out with your certain friends that you normally hang with because they in a setting in which there's alcohol provided, and it can make you feel alienated.
Yes. So my listeners or my target, the people that I'm talking to, I have nothing against drinking. Go ahead, or weed, or whatever you want to do. It's your life. Do whatever you want with your life. But once you recognize you have a problem, I had a huge problem with addiction, not just alcohol, but also cocaine and everything else I was ever offered. I said yes. I never said no to anything in my life. Right?
Same.
And yeah, it's okay.
It's a part of your addict.
Yeah. And so my audience, I'm speaking to people who have an issue. Some people can just take it or leave it. They drink, they don't drink. That doesn't matter, right? But if you've got a problem and you recognize and you want to get the shit out of your life because it'll ruin your life, that's what I'm talking about, because it almost took me down. 11 times in detox, 3 times in the psych ward. Like, it takes you bad, ugly places.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You're a survivor.
Yeah.
You're a survivor, and that's why you're here.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. Okay. Whew. So, besides that and everything else, let's go ahead and play a little game here on the Dash It Out show, which I like to call the Dash Stash. Now, the Dash Stash is simply just pretty much a hypothetical scenario in which you will fill in the blanks of certain questions that are hypothetical.
Okay.
Now, it can be literal or it can just be just fun and games. It don't have to be super literal, but it's up to you however way you want to play it. But it's just a way to sit there and kind of run through your brain real quick and just speak about like little random scenarios, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and start it off just to give you a little bit gist about how this is gonna go. Okay? So without further ado, let's get into the Dash Dish.
Okay.
So, first question.
Should I be nervous now? Okay.
No, you're gonna love it. The first question. I started to cry, but then remembered blank. So, in this case, I would say, I'm gonna start it off for you. I'm gonna say, I started to cry, but then remembered I'm the king of my domain. Okay?
I like it.
Okay, so for you, I started to cry, but then I remembered blank.
That I wanted to cry, so I did.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. There we go. Okay. Crying is very therapeutic. Like push up those toxins. If you don't, they're gonna come out elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 2. If I could run away, I would only bring with me blank and go to blank.
Are you answering it first or am I?
Oh no, so this is for you. This is for you.
Now
So
it's
I'm gonna repeat. Yeah, so I'm
Okay,
gonna
repeat.
So
Okay.
if I could run away, I would only bring with me blank and go to blank.
I would bring my dog and go to the forest.
Oh, I love that. You a dog person too?
Yeah.
I love dogs. They're so loyal and loving, right? There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it on
You
this
got your
world.
dog, you're good. You're good.
You're
That's all
good.
you need.
You're good. Okay. That's great. So, third question.
And if you're going to go to the forest, you probably want a dog. Just a little bit of...
A little protection, right?
Yeah.
Where the red fern grows. Okay. So the third question is going to be, I'm a blank living in a blank world. You know what I was thinking? I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Kind of plastic. Okay, buddy,
There
your
it
case.
is.
Okay, I'm a blank living in a blank world.
I'm
Why
a
y'all write
crazy
this
person.
shit? I think I got that started from the Barbie world shit. It's cool though. It's cool. It's cool.
I'm a crazy person living in a crazy world.
Oh, got you. I love it. He said mad world though, but crazy world still mad, crazy, same, crazy, mad.
Yeah.
You know, I can't talk trash about crazy mad since I'm on here looking like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. But hey, woo woo, doing it. Okay.
You are Sideshow Bob, yeah.
Nah, for real. I told you I look like Sideshow. Like I really look like Sideshow right now. Okay.
You
Okay.
do.
So, fourth one. When I was younger, I wanted to be a blank, and I became a blank.
When I was younger, I wanted to be an architect, and I became a prostitute. That was too real.
Oh. Okay, you definitely were literal there, but I mean,
I
it's your
sure
truth,
did.
right? It's your truth.
Okay.
But you. I mean, honestly, truthfully, you actually became a professor. That was
I
kind of
did.
like your transition. Now you kind of doing your own jazz now, so technically, you can say
That
you
was
became
too
a
literal.
professor
That was too
podcaster.
literal.
That was a little too literal, but you know what? We love a little dark humor here on the Dash It Out show. So that was definitely there.
That's okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Next one. Okay. All eyes on me because I'm a blank. All eyes on me because I'm a blank.
All eyes on me because I am the best you'll ever meet. That's
Ooh,
what.
okay. There we go. I'm the best you ever meet, the best who ever did it. Okay. There we go. Okay.
I'm the best.
Next one. I want blank, but all I need is blank.
I want to be cooler, but all I need to get is to get through this interview.
Ooh,
Never felt so white in my whole life.
but you are fucking white-tastic, okay? You cool as fuck, okay? You definitely are
Okay.
amazing. Look, you a whole vibe, okay? You're a real one.
Wait, you're sweet.
But yeah, but that concludes.
Can't remember
the
what I said. What did I
Dash. You said all I want is to be cool, but all I need is to get through this interview.
Oh yeah,
And then
right.
you-
That's what I said.
And then you
I'm
proceeded
enjoying
to
it,
like you
you're
never. But then you proceeded to say you never felt more white in your life. But let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something. I can also be pretty white myself,
You can be white.
and
Okay.
I can be pretty white myself, and I don't love how you're using the verbiage white. I really feel as though race is a concept,
Well, it's too bad. Get used to it.
and maybe break character. All right, Becca, but
Yeah.
yes, you cool. I love you, and I love this episode, and I love the fact that you're doing you, okay? Besides everything else, can you tell the listeners where they can find all of your works? And for the most part, everything will be listed in the description, but go ahead and shout it out as far as what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're working on, and the message that you want to convey overall.
I want to convey the message that not to go ahead and live your life and do your life. Don't hide. Don't allow shame. Don't allow addiction. Don't allow any of that crap to stop you from doing your life because it's the only one you've got. And if you want more from me, go to beccajacobson.com or Sober Living Snippets on Apple or Spotify or wherever you find them. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. I'm out there rooting for you.
Beautiful. Well said. Very well spoken. Once again, another round of applause to my awesome co-host, Becca Jacobson, everyone. Come on, we just gotta show her love. Like, she's a real one. She's a real one. Like, I'm pumped. Like, this is definitely one of those. It's one of those things where it's like you kind of like have everything set, and you're gonna have the interviews, you're gonna talk, but you never know exactly how it's gonna go until you actually do it. And I can really genuinely say from the bottom of my core, all the way down to my feet and up to the end of the strand of my hair, I can say for a fact that you are a vibe, and I would love for you to come back on the show again. Maybe probably even come on, definitely come on and talk more about your podcast a little bit more. I really love that. I think that would be definitely dope, and that'd be pretty cool.
Thank you. You're a sweetie. I enjoyed being the co-host. That was fun. It was great. Honored to be
definitely.
here.
Yeah, everyone. So you heard words of wisdom, encouragement, and also heard a very triumph story about Becca Jacobson. And not only that, but how she continued to push and move it forward. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's about it for this show. I mean, if you need to know more, then obviously you wasn't listening or paying attention.
Excuse me, dude.
I'm your host, Vic Dash Tour, and this is my awesome co-host,
Becca Jacobson.
There we go.
Yeah.
And until next time, all this information of we can find Becca Jacobson and her works will be listed in the description below, wherever the description boxes are nowadays. But on the My Dash It Out website, it should be listed at the bottom. Maybe. I'm not sure. We may change that too. But well, until next time, it's been a pleasure. And yeah.